Hey guys, quickly want to mention before this video starts, I am not sponsored by Canon or any other company I mentioned in this video. This is purely just me showing you guys what I'm using. I'm only saying this because I'm still in the middle of, well, at the beginning of editing this, and I'm just realizing that I sound like I'm doing a promo, and that's not what this is. I'm not doing a promo for Canon, for Sony, for Altura, or anything like that. This is just me just going over what I'm using. I was excited to do this video mostly because I had just gotten my Canon R50V. So that's all it is. It's just me going in and showing you guys what I got, what I'm using, and that's it. So enjoy the rest of the video. Peace. Hello everyone. So if you're something like me, you might be in the beginning of wanting to get more into videography and photography. Now if you are, that's great, because it's a nice hobby. It could be relaxing, but it could also be expensive. Now, today I'm going to be kind of showing you two things. I'm going to be showing you my first camera, the one that I've been using in videos for a couple months, and then I'm going to be showing you the camera I'm using now, because they're both different, used for different situations, and they're still both new. Now, first is the webcam that I've been using for a while now, and that is this, my Canon EOS 100. The EOS 100 is actually the low end of the EOS family, as far as I know. It's like the most budget friendly option out there. Now, some people are going to be like, okay, but why are you recommending something that's considered cheap? Well, because it's a good starter camera. And honestly, I've been using it before using it as a webcam. I was using it for car show events and stuff like that. Now, of course, I'm using the kit lens, which it comes with an 18 to 45 millimeter, which I've actually been fine with. I haven't had any issues with it technically. But if you're wanting, like me in the beginning, if you're wanting wider shots, then you would have wanted an ultra wide angled lens. Now, at the time, I didn't have any money, so I ended up getting this. This is an Altura lens adapter. It is 0.43 times. So at 18 millimeters, I think it was, I forgot what the equivalent is in millimeters, but this is good if you don't mind like the edges looking a little like warped fisheye type of thing, or if you don't mind a little distortion. So it's not bad in that sense, but it's definitely something you would use until you have the money to get a different lens. So like for me, on my camera, I have I have a 10 to 18 millimeter, but I'm also recording in 4K 60. so it's cropped. Now the camera I'm using right now is the Canon EOS R50V. It is the video camera equivalent to the R50, which I am very excited. I actually just got it today, and I've been messing around with it like I stole it. But yeah, this is what I was using for the longest time. It's a really nice camera. I love photography, but I also record more videos than I do take pictures. So I wanted something specifically for videos. I also didn't want nothing that would be super duper expensive, because why would I spend, like, for example, a Sony FX30? It's a cinema line camera. Why would I spend nearly, I think it's like $2,100 for the body alone, only to spend maybe a couple grand more on a new lens? Well, another couple of grand for like a really, really good lens. So I figured I would get the camera I'm using now instead. And in this video, we're going to be talking about both of them. But first up, let's go ahead and get right into the R100. The R100, for the body alone, is on sale right now for $430 on the day I'm recording this, which is June 3rd. Now, me personally, I think that's still a little expensive, because this, as good as it is, it doesn't really have much in terms of how other cameras are. So, like, if you're familiar with the R50 or something like that, this doesn't have as much to go on as you would like the R50 or I forgot what the other one is, the Canon, the Canon Power Shot is what I was trying to get at. So I mean, you're not gonna have as many settings. I mean, I know like the Power Shot is more of a video camera, or like a point and shoot. The Power Shot, and actually this R50V, have a power zoom lens. However, if you're wanting to be, or to look just like semi-professional, you can go ahead and get the R100 body and spend maybe a few hundred on like on like one of the kit lenses. I believe the 18 to 45 is roughly around almost $300, maybe $400. Now, the issue with Canon's RF kit lenses are the F variables are higher, which means they let in less light. So if you're going to be doing a lot of outside work, you're going to have to make it up with ISO and all that. But if you save up some money and you don't want to spend like a few grand on like an end game camera, I guess you could say, you could get the body of the R100, get a good lens, and then mess around with editing. That's actually how I'm learning right now, except I'm using the kit lenses. With a kit lens, editing, I actually like how my pictures turn out. My pictures, I think, turn out pretty good for what they are and what I have to work with. Let me swap on over and we can get started into looking at the R100, and then I'll swap again, and then we'll look at the R50, well, R50V. Alright, so here is the Canon R100. As you can see, I got the lens on. It is indeed a 18 to 45 millimeter. I suppose what we could do first is hello. We can I can point out some things that this camera has that my my R50 does not. And one of those things is the flash. The other thing is a viewfinder, which is not necessarily a big deal, especially if you're going to be recording videos and such, which is what I do for the most part. Then we have the buttons as to what you can do. Yeah, manual, movie, I believe that's filter. Forgot what that is. That one is like a AI scene type of thing, and then you got program. Program is about basic as to having everything get picked for you. You get a little scroll up here, which we'll get into. The shutter button, record, and then down here you have your settings. So you have the info for the info screen. You have white balance, flash, continuous, then ISO, which we are going to be getting into right now. So right now it's telling me to set my lens in position, which I can do that. So we are an 18 millimeter. So let's go ahead and look at the menu. So of course you have your shooting mode, which I can't look at the moment. But then you have image quality, which is if you want to shoot in RAW, and then what you want to shoot in. That's better. So you got all that. And then you have RAW, C-RAW. Then after you actually, when you are choosing, this scroll wheel is actually the way to kind of get around, unless you want to just use the buttons, which the buttons are always easier, especially if you're wanting it to be more controlled, I guess. Then you got all the regular settings you would need for doing your shots. And then of course your movie quality. Now they claim this as a 4K camera that you can record in it, but I do not have that option. I have 720, 60 FPS, 1080p, 24, 30, and 60 FPS, so I just stay at 60 when I am using this, at least. Then you have the normal, I forgot what that one is, but you got that. This is where you would go to in order to connect your phone via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, whether you wanted to do a live view from your phone or if you just want to transfer files. This is where you would do, I'd probably say, a majority of your tinkering, especially if you have an SD card inside. You'll be formatting. You can select a new folder, stuff like that. The video system, you can have it for either NTSC or PAL. Just all depends on what you want to do. And then here you can change your display settings. You can change your brightness of the viewfinder and your screen brightness and all that. I actually wonder, I doubt I'll be able to, but I wonder if I can capture the viewfinder inside. Hey, that's actually pretty cool. I did not know I could do that. Yeah, that's inside the viewfinder. So going through some of the options, we have, of course, what we were on, Scene Intelligent Auto. You got Program, like I mentioned. Yeah, Shutter Priority, so that's more of like freezing things in time, like rain or like that waterfall. You got Aperture Priority. Manual, which is where you should be a majority of the time. Then you got movie recording, which to me is what I would use when I had this camera working as my webcam. You got different filters, special scenes. This I never messed around with. And then you have hybrid auto, which I didn't mess around with that either. However, if you wanted to mess with the filters, there's grainy black and white, soft focus, fisheye effect. That was interesting when I was messing with that. Water painting look. You got a toy camera look. Miniature effect. Then you got the standard HDR, and then apparently a vivid art, bold, and embossed. So that's what you have for that. I'm just going to go ahead and put that back on here. As to this camera, it's a good camera depending on like how well you want things to look. Alright, and then here we have the Canon R50V, which is my brand new one. And as you can kind of tell, you can kind of see the difference in picture with how this is. I actually also noticed when I was resetting this camera back up, I did not see an area to fix audio because I needed to change something on the wireless microphone I'm using, and it just wouldn't let me. So one thing about this that is already better for movie recording and all that stuff compared to this camera is the Canon R100 has a 30-minute time limit. So once you've been recording for 30 minutes, it'll automatically stop, but you can keep going as long as the temperature is good and all that. So you don't have to really worry about that. This, however, now this is still a mystery to me because I've read that there's a 2-hour limit, and I've also seen some people say that there is no limit. So I don't really know. Anyway, so I did want to let it cool down, and wow, that cooled off fast. The temperature bar on the screen was saying that it was starting to heat up, so I took out the battery and opened this up to allow some airflow. That is one thing that I need to get. They have external fans that you can get for these, so I'm gonna end up getting one at some point. But yeah, so this is the camera. It does have a really nice record button right there. And I already forgot what this is called, but I'll remember when we're in the settings. But when you start recording, that there's a light right here that turns on. So if you're like this and you don't have the screen up, if you don't have the screen out, and if you don't have it like this to see that you're recording, then that light will let you know. Right now I just have the 18mm on there just to give it some look. I threw the 10mm on this camera just for the time being. So real quickly, before we turn on the camera and get to everything else, we will look at the modes. So this camera specifically is for videography and for basically knowing what you're already doing and then putting what you know into a profile. So as you see right here, there's C1, 2, C3. Those are custom profiles that you can use for your video. So we have C1, C2, C3. I forgot what the SCN is. You got the auto intelligent. Now this does do camera, so you can use this as a camera as well. That's not a problem. This camera, unlike the R100, you actually can use a UH2 SD card in the R50V. So that's a plus. Then you have, I forgot what that one is. I think it's like slow and fast or safe and fast or something like that. But you won't get any audio recorded when you're on that setting. And then of course you got movie mode, which is what I used. Well, it's what I was using when it was up on my tripod. So I have my settings for C1. So before I'm going to let this cool down a little bit longer. So let's just go ahead and look at some other things. So you got this wheel here. This is actually for the screen. If you don't want to use your touch or anything, you can use this to kind of scroll around. I haven't messed around with the lock button, so I actually might mess with that when we're in the camera. Live, I'll press that when we have it turned on. And then you go down here. This I like. So this is a button, but it's also a scroll. So it's kind of like what this is, just down here to make things a little easier. So a really cool thing that this camera has is it's got the mount on the bottom for desk mounts or tripods, but it also has one on the side. So you can do vertical video, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. It all depends on what you want to have as a use case. So here we are back in the R50. I'm gonna point it that way. Wow, I didn't realize how dusty that stuff is. But anyway, this is where everything is. Now if we go to settings, this is where you'll be spending most of your time, especially when setting up the profiles. So like I was saying, this you would scroll down with, and this up here you would go back and forth with. On here, this is where you have all of your settings. You got 4K, 4K crop, which 4K crop is the only way you can reach 60 FPS in 4K on this camera. And then you got full HD. So I usually stay at 4K crop because with the 10mm, it's actually not a bad crop. Movie format, you got some options. You got 8-bit, and then you got the different 10 bits, which is HEVC and AVC. I've been staying on the HEVC 420 10-bit. And then this is what I was talking about earlier with the R100 not having sound settings, because I actually had to go in and manually set the record level for this, which I could also do a test as well for the built-in camera microphones. So then you got your ISO and exposure, you got your color, which this is all just stuff that you honestly have to mess around with. Then you got your white balance. Mine's set to 6,000, mostly because I have I've got a light up there that is 6,000, so I have it set to that just to kind of help with the color. You got white balance correction, cinema view. That is not available to be clicked on, but I forgot what that is anyway. The tally lamp, the light at the front of the camera I mentioned, that's what it is, the tally lamp. So one thing that is kind of a bother is the image stabilizer, because if you want like stabilized footage, it's going to crop your video even more than it already does, which some people won't like. Most of my recordings are stationary, so I don't ever have to really worry about that much. Reverse display, I believe that is when you do the vertical shooting. You even have sea logs and zebras. You have the standard autofocus stuff. You can put what you're trying to detect, whether it be people, animals, vehicles, or just hit auto for it to randomly do it. Eye detection is recommended, and I must say, with everything I've done, it actually does a very good job with eye protection, eye tracking. This is all standard stuff again. So this is also where you would connect via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. You can connect this camera to a phone. It looks like you can do it through the Camera Connect streaming. And then here you got more options as usual. Here is also where, actually I need to really look now. I forgot where it's at. Oh yeah, okay. So we're getting to it. So even here you can change the volume of your buttons and your shutter, which I think is pretty cool. You can pick where you hear your audio from. Here you got screen brightness, power saving. Now this is something I would recommend messing with because I did not at first, and I ended up having issues with the camera screen turning off and everything. So you got that. This is where you would go to, because I actually just did this before I started recording. The settings that you have for all of this, let it be the picture style, cinema. This just adds I guess I can't do that right now. Basically any of these settings. Oh, and actually here I can show the That's what the stabilization does. That's the crop. Well, more crop at least. Whatever settings that you change, this is where you would save it to. So you would register it to one of the modes, hit OK, and then you could auto update if you want, especially if you're constantly changing something. I'm just gonna leave mine alone because this one profile is basically all I need right now. Battery info. This is the nice thing that I saw earlier. It actually tells you how much capacity you have and what the performance is like. And before you ask, no, I have not updated the firmware yet. I just got it today and I've just been messing around doing stuff. Here you can set up custom buttons and basically whatever else you need. And then that is that for this. So this earlier, the number 1 live, when you click that, it brings you to the live streaming tab. The same thing we saw earlier. You can do pretty much anything. You can basically use this camera as a camera for your phone and whatever else. Lock though. I'm actually not sure what that does. I'll have to do a little bit of research. But yeah, so that is the Canon R50V. So I'm not fully sure if I'm fully in focus or in view, but this is the way that the Canon looks. The EOS R100 just in hand, arm resting on the desk, just trying to stabilize it as much as I can, while also using the built-in microphone on the camera itself. Now this I can see just fine. This is what everything looks like on the Canon R50V with the cropping, using the built-in the built-in camera microphone. And now I'm back. So who are these cameras actually for? Beginners, like myself. I'm a beginner. I am not claiming to be a professional in the slightest. Not at all. In fact, I am the complete opposite of a professional. What matters most is if you're happy with what you got, which I am extremely happy with what I have, and what you choose to do with all of it. So, like I was saying, in my case, it was better to get the EOS R50V, just the body, because I already had this, which came with some kit lenses, and then I also had the 10 to 18 millimeter. But yeah, I mean, this is 4K 60 with the crop without stabilization. I would say this is a pretty good like cropping width for this. And I'll be sure to I'll be sure to add in and post some things that show my space FOV wise is what I was trying to say. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. When I was using this camera versus this one, especially at like a 1080p range. But yeah, I mean, if you're wanting your first like interchangeable lens camera, go with an R100. If you're looking for a video camera with an interchangeable lens, go with the R50V. Alright, so if we're looking right here, you'll see my Amazon screen. So here we have the Canon EOS R50V showing up at $570 only for the body. Now, to me, that's a good price because with the kit lens it comes with, which is a 14 to 30 millimeter, but it's a power zoom lens, that's $800. That's still not bad, honestly. But if you're gonna do basically what I did, you might as well just save the extra money, get the body, and hopefully save some extra for a different lens, one that is good and all that stuff. And the one thing I forgot to mention I like about this camera, the R50V, is the screen. Because like this doesn't have a pull-out screen. This is just there. But as I was saying, for the vertical, as you can see, it's got the you can go vertical, and then the screen, which I believe is that reverse screen setting I mentioned, is when you take the camera and you tilt it, the screen tilts with it so that it's vertical, which I think is pretty cool. And that's also where the mount comes in, the mount on the side of the camera. So you got that. And then for the R100, the body is $430. Now, personally, I think it's a little high still for what it is. And even here, even says 4K. And I think down here somewhere, actually I think it's down here, record high quality 4K movies at up to 24 frames. I don't know if my settings are different or if there's something I have to enable or what. But even before I updated the firmware on it, I wasn't able to do 4K videos. The most I could do is a 4K output through the mini HDMI. But anyway, the R50V is good if you want to do mostly videos with some photo taking. This is good if you want to do some or mostly photography with some video. So they both kind of have their shtick. They both have their own little thing. And then, like I was saying, $430 for the price. If you save the extra, you can get a better lens than one of Canon's kit lenses. And then, if you wanted to go with the kit lens, the 18 to 45 mil, which is what I have, it's an extra, what was that, $100 roughly. So if you wanted to start off with something until you had enough for like a good lens, you could do that. But this is basically what I got when I got the R100. It comes with the camera, a Canon camera bag, a 18 to 45 mil, and a 75 to 300 mil. Mine actually didn't come with a memory card, but it was about $700 when I got it. So honestly, it all depends on what you want to go for. I actually still want to try out that 75 to 300 millimeter lens because that's a telescope lens. I just have to find something to actually use it on. I haven't really had the chance yet for that. But yeah, so if you're starting out, the Canon R100 with a good lens will get you started. Then you have the opportunity to practice editing the photos, and then just seeing what works for you. For video, the Canon R50V, because it is, from what I've seen today so far, it's been great as a video camera. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have their drawbacks. So like I mentioned for the R50V, if you like a viewfinder, the R50V doesn't have a viewfinder. Same thing with the flashing, the pop-out flash. It doesn't have a flash. Now I know, like me, at some point, I'm going to be getting a LED light for the cold shoe, just so I can have either this light off or this light and that light on, just to kind of keep everything illuminated. Because right now I also have this light on, which is also a 6000K, and it doesn't change much. But I also have my stuff set up specifically to do good. And then yeah, it really just depends. I mean, like the R100 is good for learning photography. The R50V is good for learning videography. It just depends on what you're going for, what you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best of the best. Like personally, I would take this camera and a better lens over the Sony ZV, whatever it is. Mostly because I think even with the body only, it's like $1,000 or something like that, or it used to be. I don't really remember, but it's one of that. So you've got that. Or the alternatives are that you save for something better. You got the Canon R50, the R7, the R8. You could even go with a Rebel. Research is the biggest key here, honestly. But this video is just me showing you the back and forth between the two cameras I use, what I use them for, the settings that's included in them, and basically everything else. So if you enjoy the video, let me know down in the comments. Also, if you want a video specific if you want a topic specific video, either it be the R100 or the R50V, let me know down in the comments below. I'll be happy to go through them. If you want me to go through the 3 lenses I have, or the memory card, the batteries, accessories, whatever, just let me know down in the comments and I'll do what I can to make sure I can get that done. But like I said, that's going to be it for me for now. So thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to support me, check out my other channels down below. Lately, I've been doing a lot of reactions, so I have a reaction channel. And then I also have a Patreon for full-length reaction videos, and I'm going to be doing more with that soon. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.